Are you serious?
I've got a fire in my eyes. I'm burning brighter than the sunlight. You orchestrated my escape. Now I'm awake. I feel alive for the first time. You ignite the fire in my
Hello, my friends. Hello. Welcome to one more edition of the Brother Marcos radio show. We're broadcasting directly from São Paulo, Brazil, through the data flow and the airwaves of the Capal Radio Network and Radio Redemption Network. Yes, my friends, great to be with you. I know there's a lot of people spread throughout the world who listen to this show, and this is a source of pride and happiness to me. Thank you very much, especially people in England, people in Slovenia, people in South Africa, people in the United States of America who have contacted us through our email, brothermarcosradio@gmail.com. We are also available at facebook.com/Brother Marcos Radio, and I really appreciate when you contacted us with words of encouragement. It's great because being this side of the microphone is lonely. I'll tell you, it's lonely. So it's good to know that we are reaching people, and we try to reach people with the good news of the gospel. And the good news is that Jesus Christ died for you at the cross, and so you can have forgiveness of your sins. And you have forgiveness of your sins means that you can borrow Jesus Christ's holiness, and you can live with God. You can have eternal life. That's the only way to be able to live with a holy God. You have to be perfect. You have to be holy. And of course, we are humans, and we are not able to achieve the level of perfection and holiness that is required for, living side by side with God, to see the face of God one day. And so that's why we need to borrow Jesus Christ's holiness and perfection, and that's available to you at the cross. Yes, just go and read the book of John. It's not too long. It's easy. Just receive the forgiveness of Jesus Christ. That's what we do here. We bring the good news, and we also try to warn you about the many pitfalls and the many dangers that are lurking around us. We're living in dangerous days. We're living in a world that is full of traps, especially from the enemy. And I'll tell you, I do not believe that, Satan is to blame for everything, because he has, lots of help from evil people. Oh yeah, so it's a partnership. It's Satan plus evil people. They work together in order, just to promote basically evil. That's what they're doing today. And that's why we have this show today. We are talking about the subject of spirit guides, demonic spirit guides. And there's something new now. Of course, it's the Tulpa, the Tulpas. The Tulpas, they are new, in the internet age. They are new for Westerns. But, as it happens with everything else in the occult, these things, they're thousands of years old, okay? This comes from Buddhism. It comes from Buddhism. It comes especially from the most wicked, disgusting, Tantric sect of Buddhism, okay? That's the one that the Dalai Lama follows and leads, actually. It's all about sexual magic, tantrism, okay? And bodily fluids. Ugh. Disgusting, nasty. Oh yeah, for the love of pizza, this is nasty. And it's all about the most disgusting perversions, sexual perversions. But nobody really knows here in the West, because what they do there, because they only bring the sanitized version of their depraved rituals here to the West. Because if people really knew what they do in their sexual rituals there, they would never want to have anything to do with Buddhism. So, but anyway, they now have the Tulpas, my friends, and they're basically spirit guides. They're created in the imagination of people, especially young men. We're going to discuss a little about that. But what are spirit guides, my friends? Do you think this is something very esoteric that, only crazy people do? Oh, no. I know people who have dealt with spirit guides. This is very, very mainstream right now. People are teaching kids how to contact spirit guides all the time. Here we see at the Huffington Post. Huffington Post is a Marxist front created by Arianna Huffington. Arianna Huffington, she's a traitor. She sold her soul for Satan because she used to be a conservative. She used to work with that guy, Breitbart. I don't know, in the States, do you say Breitbart? Like the German pronunciation, or Breitbart? Okay, this is a very famous guy. And the guy that that he died. Do you remember he was a conservative? And she built the Huffington Post with Arianna Huffington as a conservative website, and they were very, very successful. And Arianna was bought out by the Illuminati, basically, by the elite, by the bankers. Okay, so. And then she became a Marxist, from a conservative to a Marxist, in exchange for lots and lots of money, success, and promotion in the media. And now she is the head of an empire. Okay, that's what happens when you sell your soul to Satan. But not for everybody. It's just like for the 1% of people who can be useful for Satan. Because most people, I would say 99% of people who sell their souls to Satan, what happens is that, they end up dead, they have miserable lives, they commit suicide, But Arianna Huffington, no, the devil had great plans for her. So now we have the Huffington Post, they basically promote occultism and Marxism. There is a Huffington Post Brazil here. Can you believe that? It's all about Marxism. They do that. They promote all kind of sexual perversions, immorality, all the Marxist agenda that you already know. And here, the Huffington Post, it's talking about 3 steps to connect with your spirit guide. And they say here, we all have at least one spirit guide, a formerly human soul assigned to be our earthly tutor, to impress inspiration with us, support us in decision making, and to collaborate with us in creative endeavors. Basically what they say, my friends, is that the spirit guide takes the place of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit for a Christian, it will provide you with wisdom, with guidance, with conviction of sin. Okay? But these spirit guides for the occultists, they do all these activities. They play these roles, with the exception of conviction of sin. The spirit guides, they never talk about sin. Okay? And I'll tell you, they're all. It's mainstream right now, and I will not really read from the text here, because basically what he says is it's a manual on how to contact your spirit guide, and I don't want to teach you how to do that. But basically you already know it's meditation. Okay, you just open yourself through trances and meditation, and you do that over and over again. You basically are opening a door for a demon. You're asking, it's a kind of invocation. You're asking a demon to contact you, and it's here. It's in the Huffington Post. It says here, you basically you select a name for the thing. You start to imagine that you are contacting that spirit, the thing. Okay, and then if you do that over and over and over again, it will appear one day, and it does. It really does. That's the problem here. So it's all around us, my friends, because people now, they're all Gnostics, okay? Because occultism basically, it says it's all about evolution of the spirit. It's about becoming gods. It's about Gnosticism. And when you enter this kind of this line of thought, you're going to have spirit guides, because basically what you're saying is that all spirits, they will evolve, and eventually they will become gods. So basically you have spirits that are more evolved, more developed than you are, and what happens is that they will come back to help you climb up the stairway to heaven. They will try to help you be more developed, okay? And you will contact them through occultic practices, meditation, and things like that, spiritism, all right? So, spirit guides, basically, my friends, it's in the core of occultism. You cannot have occultism without spiritual evolution and without contact with spirits. And you see, it's perfect, because it's exactly what Satan wants for people. Satan wants that, people to not rely on God, to forget about God, and start opening themselves to the guidance of demons. That's the perfect situation for Satan, because then those demons will tell you exactly what you have to do, what you have to believe. Sometimes they will help you with decisions and things like that. I had a friend when I was working for Johnson & Johnson, and she used to be a product manager there. And she started doing meditation. And, she had some friends who were into New Age and things like that. And then one day she told me, I had an out-of-body experience, astral projection, So she went out of her body, and she went to that place. It was like a cave. And there she met those 3 spirit guides. And they told her everything about her life and the things that she wanted. They gave her advice, and she was super, super excited about it. And I told her, I am Christian. I don't believe this is a good thing for you. I really believe they are demons masquerading as friends. But she said, no, they are my friends. They're great. They gave her advice, and she was in a bad situation because we had this witch as a boss at the time, and she was like making her life hell. And she really got another job because of those spirit guides. And it was really amazing, because it was a job at this great company. It's L'Oreal, the French cosmetics company. And my friends, the headhunter and the director there, the marketing director, they sent her flowers. It's like a courtship. Come work with us. You're great. So it's like all the doors open for her. And so she was into that. I have a person in my family who has a spirit guide, and he hears voices all the time. And this voice, this friend, he calls him friend. He tells him how, what to do, helps him with the difficult decisions, and even provides him with health advice. Not that it really helps much, because I have another uncle who died young from a series of illnesses. And really doesn't help, but it's there. So it's real, my friends. That's what I want to tell you. And it's mainstream. It's here. Huffington Post. Okay? It's here. And they all talk about, coincidences that happen, all this kind of, things that happen from nowhere. that validate their beliefs. The devil, they have a way to make things happen. They call it serendipity. When things just connect one with the other and validate the spiritual things that you are seeing. So my friends, that's what's happening. We are living in a world when we're going to see more and more this kind of thing happening. People contacting demonic spirits, opening themselves. And what is amazing and very, very sad that we are seeing right now, kids, especially boys, those boys, my friends, they are being deprived of a normal masculinity. If you were a boy in the past, you would be accepted into society. You would work besides your father and uncles and grandfather at the farm, or maybe you would be a craftsman. You would work with your hands. You would build, a house. You would learn how to, to be a carpenter. You would do things. You would accomplish things because, man, boys, they want to accomplish things. That's the way we are biologically. Okay? We like projects. We like to solve problems. That's why. That's why so many kids, so many boys, they have this addiction for video games because they want to solve that problem. They want to beat the system. They want to get so many stars. They want to break the record. So the problem is that what you do with that masculine energy, you can put it to good use in society, or you can just waste that with stupid things like video games and all kinds of stupid endeavors. And now, because of the internet, we're seeing things. They're getting together and they're dealing with occultism. Because if they go to the schools, they cannot, in the schools they have to behave. They got schools, and even at work. You have the witches, the feminists that tell them that they have to go through diversity training, sexual harassment training. They tell them that they're rapists in potential, so they have to shut up, walk with their heads down. Just losers. That's what they're turning men into right now. They're all losers, ashamed of being men. If you say something that you are not supposed to say, you're going to be called to the HR department. Human resources will say, you cannot tell a joke here at work. You cannot, be proud to be a man here at work. You have, to be ashamed all the time. So, what's happening is that many men, they're just escaping from that. They're retiring. We're talking about 20-year-olds, okay? In Japan, we have those boys, those men, they live with their families and they stay inside their bedrooms for years. They don't even go out, not even to the kitchen to have a meal, because their masculinity is being destroyed. Okay, so there are times with these stupid things here, and now this is a fad. They are the Tulpa mancers. They're looking for friends, imaginary friends that they create, my friends, in their minds. So there is there's this article here, okay, and it says Tulpamancers are people who, through extended bouts of concentration and visualization, produce a special kind of imaginary friend that they call a tulpa. Tulpas are understood to be distinct sentient beings with their own personalities, inclinations, and autonomy. Through various active and passive processes known as forcing, Tulpamancers spend hours solidifying their impressions of their creations as something more than just an ordinary inner voice. So they create spirit guides. That's what they're doing through concentration, imagination. You know, the imaginations that the Bible tells us to flee from. We have to really be, you know, the Bible tells us that imaginations are dangerous because they are at the root of occultism. Visualization is basically magic. You know, you think that you're going to change things in the world by the power of your mind. That's magic, okay? And that's what they're doing here. And it's so crazy. I really think there's a lot of influence of animes. You know, animes, the Japanese comics and cartoons. You know, because some of those tulpas, they look like Japanese cartoons. Yes. I mean, it's crazy, it's ridiculous, but it's affecting thousands upon thousands of boys. And it's everywhere, my friends. I have just told you the story of that boy here, a 13-year-old boy, good student, good kid. He hanged himself, he asphyxiated himself in a game, online game, internet game, okay? League of Legends, because he lost a match in that online game and they had a bet and he asphyxiated himself. He died here in Brazil. 13-year-old boy. So most of the Tulpamancers that this anthropologist here investigated, they were white, middle to upper middle class, urban, and between the ages of 19 and 23. You know, in the past, kids in that age range, they were getting married. They had babies. They were working. Okay? They had things to do. They were members of society, but now they're little babies. Because that's what feminism and Marxism are doing to kids, especially boys. They're destroying the lives of them. Sorry for being crass, but they're cutting off their balls. That's what they're doing. So they stay at home inside their rooms, playing like they're tulpamancers in online forums. Men outnumber women 3-1, although roughly 10% of tulpamancers surveyed identified themselves as gender fluid. Oh, what a surprise. You see? And this comes from Tibet, my friends. From Tibet. You know, from Buddhism, okay? It's a word that means emanation, apparition, magical illusion, okay? It comes, they say here, that it comes really, it started with a woman that went to Tibet. And she lived in the turn of the century, you know, the beginning of she went there, I think, in the beginning of the 20th century. Her name was Alexandra David Neal. And she went there, and she went to the temples, and she was very important because she went there and she made friends with the lamas there. The lamas are the monks, the Buddhist monks. And she learned everything about Buddhism and about occultism there. And she was able to make a tulpa for herself. Okay, they taught her how to do it. Okay, and she said that it really worked. And then she wrote a book. And this book, it was published here in the West. And so people, they got all excited about Buddhism and about Tibet and all the, Lobsang Rampa, all those, all those authors, New Age authors that talk about Buddhism. They only talk about Buddhism because of this woman here. This Alexandra woman. I'll tell you, she's ugly as hell. What the ugly man? Come on. Well, I think there was nothing left for her to do besides going to Tibet and learning witchcraft there. But anyway, I'm digressing here. Her book was very successful and really sparked the interest of people in Buddhism, you know. And and they say here, the author of this article here, he's saying, wow, it's amazing because I'm seeing these tulpas everywhere. I discovered that Cartoon Network's Adventure Time show had, as recently as a month ago, devoted a whole episode to the tulpa concept. Yeah, this Adventure Time it's a demonic cartoon, okay? My kids watched that for a time, but I told them to stop because, you know, they have demons, they have a vampire. It's a weird cartoon, I'll tell you. Adventure Time, weird cartoon, okay? Do not watch it. But you see, it's here. They're teaching this thing, this tulpa spirit guy thing, to kids. And then he says, and then just on Monday, I saw a rerun of X-Files, and I was amazed because it's all about the tulpas. So we see here the agent Fox Mulder talking about tulpas, and that you know, it's mainstream. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, it's mainstream. And he says, you know, this really comes from Tibetan Tantric Buddhism. You know, how to manifest a tulpa. Okay, it really involves training in the intentional production of mental forms while in a lucid dream state. I mean what is this? It's a trance. And then the so-called generation or creation stage of Tibetan Tantric yogas, requiring the meditator to imagine, call upon, and then animate various idams. Idams means mind-bound meditational deities, so as to draw near to them, experience them, and attain their blessings. So you're invocating a demon. Okay, that's where it comes from. And then they had that, you know, there is this website called Reddit. Reddit, it's like several different forums, and some of them they have thousands of people, and they discuss things. Okay. And he says here, there's a guy who really knows Tibetan Buddhism, and he was saying this is basic. It's all very much in line with the spiritual development stages in Tibetan Buddhism. Tulpa is an accurate description of these demons, the Edens. Okay, they call it Edens. All right, but he says a tulpa is something used all the time in the Vajrayana, meaning Tibetan Tantric Buddhism, though the word is almost never used. They use, you know, a different word, okay, but it's the same thing basically. And they had this image here, this illustration of this demon. I'll tell you, you know, horrible things. Looks like those demons in Hinduism. Looks like the things that people meet when they take ayahuasca. You know, the Santo Daime tea from the jungle. Okay, hallucinogenic thing. Oh yes, it's the deity here. You know, they invite that thing, and then he talks a lot about the Dalai Lama and things like that. Okay. But I'll say, he says here, the Tulpamancers, they are basically doing Buddhism, okay? More than this, where ritual magicians typically make tulpas, or what are called servitors, thought forms, bud wheels, psychogones, and so on, to fulfill specific magical tasks. And while Tibetan Buddhists visualize Eden as part of specific religious practices, the Tulpamancers actively distinguish their tulpa companions from what they see as dumb, de-individualized servitor slaves. Instead, for the most part, Tulpamancers describe making tulpas out of curiosity and loneliness, or to bring fictional characters they had previously imagined as part of personal creative projects to greater life. So basically what he's saying here is that, you know, this thing was actually a religious practice, but the kids here in the West, what they're doing is they're just bored, and that's, they're lonely and they're bored, okay, and then they are using these things from a Eastern religion, but they really don't know what they're doing. And I agree, but the problem, my friends, is that Satan doesn't care. You're gonna be possessed. The demons will wreck your life, will destroy your spiritual condition, and he won't ask you, oh, but are you really doing this for religious reasons or just because you're bored? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. If you invite a demon, no matter what the reason is, he will come. You have given him rights, okay? So it's no excuse. You will not be able to say, oh, come on, Satan, I did that just because I was bored. He doesn't care. All right? And then there is here another example, my friend, and this is so sad. Do you remember the two girls who tried to kill another friend? Their names were Anissa Vaya, or Weir. I don't know how you say. I'm always confused about how Americans, they change the pronunciation of those German names and French names. Okay, so it's Anissa Weir, or Vaya in German, and Morgan Geyser, same thing. Morgan Geyser, two beautiful little girls. They tried to stab and kill another girl because of Slender Man. Do you remember that? The internet boogeyman, okay, whose mythos has been elaborated extensively via fan fiction, web serials, online games, and other media. Okay? It's his tall, faceless entity. He's in fact a Tulpa. Oh yes, that's what he is. And they started to hear from this Slender Man. It was a created being. So basically, my friends, the dynamics here, it's like you have this 12-year-old girls. They start to have these fantasies. And what happens, my friends, is that the demon realizes that. And he tells himself, I'm gonna pretend I am exactly that fantasy. Because he can change himself into whatever he wants. He can really mimic that fantasy, all right? And then he will say, I'm Slender Man, or I am this and that Tulpa that you love, okay? And then he will take over and destroy those lives. And in this case here, lead the girls to murder. That's why I hate the Dalai Lama. I hate that man. He is a demon. Dalai Lama he is a demon. He's leading people to hell. He's a depraved man who takes part in sexual rituals, disgusting sexual rituals, and then he comes here to the West and pretends to be very nice and a very loving person, very pure and holy, but he's a deceiver. Okay? And here, my friends, we see other people. There is here an article about those kids, about the Tulpamancers, okay? And they're there. And there's one kid here from Poland saying how he really created his own Tulpa, okay? And one of them has a Tulpa here that it really looks like an anime, a Japanese cartoon character. Okay, there she was. And first, what appeared? An orb. Those balls of light. Okay, and there she was, naked, with large fox ears and a bristly tail. She looked at him with large, primitive eyes. You know what they do? they create magical environments. So they transport themselves to those imaginary environments. Could be a jungle, a field, That's how they do. There's another one here. Jake Clinton, a game design student from Plymouth. I have 3 Tulpas. They've been with me 20 months. Their names are Twee, Dash, and Scoots. There are 3 anthropomorphic ponies about a foot high. Yes, my friends, it says here, Tulpas remained the preserver of occultists until 2009, when the subject appeared on discussion boards of 4chan. It's another website with forums, That's it, my friends. Now, the forum that they have at the Reddit website has more than 6,000 members. And there, I have here, I'm going to post this on the Facebook page, on the Fifth Hook Media Facebook page and the Brother Marcos Radio Facebook page, because you see here the boy walking down the street with the spirit by his side. He made a drawing himself about what this Tulpa here is. And they have these friends. 40% of his respondents reported that their Tulpas felt as real as a physical person. 50% described them as somewhat real, distinct from their own thoughts. Of course, it's a demon. It's a personality. Okay? For most, simple companionship is enough. My motivation for having a Tulpa was the same as there is for having any other kind of friend. Someone who knows everything about you but still loves you. I mean, this is the definition of Jesus Christ for a Christian. But they don't have Jesus Christ, they have Tulpas. Who knows not just the outer portion, but deep inside too. Okay? And then they say how they create... it's all about helping others to find their spirit guides. First, they create a wonderland, an imaginary environment where they begin to interact with their Tulpas. Okay? My wonderland is a little forest grove, says another kid here. I'd imagine myself there hanging out with my Tulpa and we'd talk or we'd go explore. Basically the same stuff you do with a friend in real life. No, it's not, my friend. You should be meeting girls. You should be studying. You should be working. You should be in the real world, making friends, exploring the world, traveling. Get a backpack and go to Europe. Get on a train, get on a bus. Okay, go to the Appalachians and do the Appalachian Trail. Do something. Go explore the Grand Canyon, the parks, the American parks, wonderful parks you have there. Get a backpack and a tent. Go to the real world. It's so sad what's happening here. Especially, we're talking about Americans. They have everything they want. Everything. They have the money, they have the parks, they have friends. Come on. But they would rather stay inside their rooms in imaginary wonderlands. Yes, my friends. And you know what's worse? There are doctors saying that this is good. That they can cure mental diseases using the Tulpas. Schizophrenia, could be healed. Okay, because schizophrenia basically is an involuntary example of Tulpas. No, it's not. It's basically demon possession. People who hear voices. Okay. Therefore, by forming positive relationships with their symptoms, sufferers can start to recover. What they're saying here is that if you start hearing voices from demons, they're destroying your life, you're getting crazy. What you do is that you become friends with the demons. If you become friends with the demons, then you will start to recover. I'm not kidding. There is a movement, my friends. It's called the Hearing Voices movement, and it's all about telling you that it's a good thing to hear voices. Okay? There's another. You know what they do? Of course. They have sex with the Tulpas. Tulpa sex is controversial. It's a controversial subject in the community. Imagine how that would make them feel. That they were only created as a sex doll. But, however, if sex is part of a close relationship, that's another story. In short, yeah, we have. We have done it. Says Scoots, one of the 3 My Little Pony style Tulpas, hosted by Nick. All 3 of us have had sex with our host at one point or another. We totally bang, says Siuxi, a Tulpa hosted by Kelson. Okay? There are some sordid details here that I'm not going to read to you. But it's basically, my friend, these are incubus and succubus. You know what this is? Demonic spirits. Demons who have sex with people. Incubus and succubus. This is not new at all. This is an old thing. And it's very funny because this Buddhist thing, this Buddhist guy here, he's really upset about the Tulpa. Because he's saying, this is not right. You're borrowing from our religion. You're not doing things the right way. You guys who are Tulpamancers, Western kids, you're playing with things that you don't understand. And he's so upset, it's funny. So he explains the origin of the word Tulpa. Okay, basically, it means basically created, incarnated, emanated. So it really just means an emanated person of emanation. All right? And he says here, the lamas, they do that, the Tibetan monks. Okay? A tulpa is something used all the time in Vajrayana Buddhism. Okay? When performing a ritual where you're calling a deity of some sort, you create a Damshig Sempa, meaning commitment being. It's basically a visualized form of the deity first. So you know what they do? They say, I want to contact that demon. Okay? They say it's a god. Okay? But it's a demon. And then they say, well, I'll start imagining that thing. And he starts thinking about it. Okay? And what happens is that they create a shell. So he says here, so if you're calling on Sherenzik, it's one of their demons they have there, before you actually call on him, you visualize him in front of you. Create him with your mind. Create an energetic shell for him. That's a Damshig Sempa. That is sometimes referred to as a tulpa, but not often. Once this is created, then you call on the Yeshe Sempa, meaning wisdom being, which refers to the real deity. First you make a shell, and then you call them into it. So you see, it's like a receptacle, okay? It's like a vessel, that you create with your imagination. And when it's there, the demon, okay, that they call it a god, it will come and fill that shell. You see? So basically, it's invocation, my friends. It's black magic. And I'm really crazy because I'm really upset because those Buddhists in the West here, they say, no, Buddhism, we don't believe in demons and gods. No, we don't even believe in a god. We only believe in the powers of the universe. It's a lie. Real Buddhism is all about worship of demons. Okay, it's just witchcraft. It's like Santeria, there's nothing different. But they like to say, no, we are so pure. We only deal with positive energies. We don't worship any kind of entity. We don't worship anything. We're just pure guys, We're Zen. We're so Zen. Okay. And then he says here, this has been integrated in Western occultism. It shows up in almost 30 texts I could find. They're all over the place. Kenneth Grant, Donald Tyson, in books on ceremonial magic. Ceremonial magic is Aleister Crowley magic. It's deep Satanism, and black magic, okay? And books on Wicca, New Age. What do they say about Tulpa? They just say it means an energy construct or thought form. Tulpas are an energetic body that you summon a deity into. They're not a thought form. He's upset here. He's trying to explain to those silly, naive kids, Western kids, that they're doing things the wrong way. You do not make a tulpa of just anything. In fact, arguably, you can't, because it lacks the yeshe sempa. Visualized imaginations and thought forms are something else altogether. Tulpas are a very specific concept in a ritual process. So what he's saying here, this is a Buddhist ritual. You're messing with things that you don't know. Well, that part is true. Yes, my friends, it's crazy, but it's happening all around us. We're going to stop for a minute for a commercial break, and we will be back.
Ebook, Christianity of Blasphemy, A New Gnostic Lie by Paul and Linda Villanueva is an urgent warning for every Christian. It exposes the sinister plan to blend a form of ancient Gnosticism with Christianity, thus creating a new Gnostic lie that will deceive many. This new form of Christianity is already among us and on the rise. It is imperative to educate yourself and everyone you love. Once again, the ebook is a prophetic and dire warning. Christianity of Blasphemy, A New Gnostic Lie, is available as a download from all online digital retailers such as Amazon and iBooks. Other formats for reading on your computer or printing it out are available at fifthhookmedia.com, FIFTHOOK media.com. Please do not be caught unaware, sleeping, or in the dark, as this demonic deception creeps into the church and destroys what is left of true biblical Christianity. Go to fifthhookmedia.com right now to get your ebook and start preparing yourself against this demonic delusion.
All right, my friends, we are back from the commercial break, and we're discussing the crazy fads and fashions that are all over the internet. People trying to create their spirit guides, and they call it Tulpas. Sometimes it's the Slender Man. Okay, it's all kind of imaginary friends that now you create, and you make invocations until they start talking to you, and then when you wake up one day, you have voices in your head and a real demon that is like attached to you. And I'll tell you, in order to get rid of that demon, it's gonna be a battle. Even if a miracle occurs and people get saved, all right, receive Jesus Christ, it's going to be a fight. There's going to be a fight, my friends, because demons, when they attach to a person, they don't want to go out without a fight. That's what happens. That's all the testimonies that we have. It's all the same thing. I wish it were different, that I could say, oh, you get saved and everything magically just solves itself. You have salvation, you have, you're a new creature, you have the Holy Spirit, but you have to fight the consequences of your involvement with occultism, all right? And those crazy kids, they're dealing with, they're playing with fire, and this is deep demonic stuff. It comes from Buddhism, Tantric Buddhism, okay? Do not let people fool you and tell you that Buddhism is just, this thing that brings peace of mind and tranquility, okay? Because it's not. It's worship of demons. They have their witchcraft there, but they don't want you to know. They have their rituals. They have lots and lots of the gods that they worship, but they don't want you to know. They will tell you, no, we just worship the universe, the nirvana. We're going to achieve nirvana, okay? But they're liars. They're liars. I don't like Buddhism because, I especially don't like Buddhism because they are dishonest in the way that they display themselves, they show themselves. All right? But my friends, let's go to the important part. What does the Bible say about spirit guides? Okay? Because people, they say, spirit guides are incorporeal beings. They're assigned to us before we are born. They help nudge and guide us through life. Some are highly ascended masters. Even some say like Jesus. Another might be your average spirit who just happens to be a master in a certain area. My friends, this is all over the culture. Okay? If you go to, the Native Americans, the native religions, they all have an ancestral guides that come back from the dead just to help you. It's a belief that is all over the occult religions. In Santeria, you have spirit guides. In Spiritism, you have spirit guides. Okay? Because they say a true spirit guide is an evolved being who has agreed to support your spiritual evolution. They're helpers. They're healers. Real spirit guides are wise, compassionate, and often amusing. They're if Oh yes, they're funny. You're gonna laugh all the way down to hell. If you talk to David Icke will say that, he has a spirit guide. And Rikorsky, I think it's the name of his spirit guide, is the same demon that was the spirit guide of Madame Blavatsky from Theosophy. You have people like that Freeman. Freeman is it's very interesting because this Freeman guy, he used to be a hippie. He used to sleep in his car, okay? He didn't like to work. He was a bum, actually, and he didn't like to work. And now he started talk about the New World Order, the Illuminati. He got famous. He's so famous because, he exposes the Illuminati. Oh, yes. He has like a podcast. He has now a network. And you go there and you see his network is all about occultism. All the other people there who are into his network, the other people with podcasts, is all about occultism. Okay, it's all about contacting demons and things like that. So you see, my friends, you better watch out, because of all those guys. I'll tell you now, 50% of those people who are exposing, quote unquote, the Illuminati, the globalists, they say a lots of true things, but then they say that the solution for fighting the Illuminati is contacting the spirit guides, is contacting the ascended masters. Okay? Because that's the plan I have been telling you for so long. They want to say that the Antichrist and occultism is going to be the solution for the evils of the Illuminati. I mean, they're one and the same, of course. We know that. But that's the lie that they're telling. And this Freeman, he was on Alex Jones the other day. I mean, he's big now. He's big. He's not sleeping in his car anymore and smoking weed, okay? He's not a hippie anymore. He's mainstream. He's big, okay? He is there talking against the Rothschilds, the bankers, and saying to you, in order to defeat the bankers, you have to find your spirit guide, your ascended masters, and then you're going to have the positive energy from the core of the galaxy. The galaxy, it will change your life. You're going to be full of this energy and going to contact all the spirits, and you're going to realize you're a god. And once you do that, you will bring down the Illuminati. Come on, the Illuminati, the real Illuminati, they are laughing. They're rolling on the floor laughing. Okay, because they're preparing their man, the Antichrist. And he's going to say that he's this great guy. Oh, yes, he's this developed being. He did a lot of meditation, okay? That's it, my friends. But the Bible, doesn't like that much. Okay? The Bible, it calls them familiar spirits. Okay? Satan disguised himself as an angel of light in order to fool people. Oh yes. Oh yes. In the Old Testament, there is a lot of warnings about that. Give no regard to mediums and familiar spirits. Do not seek after them or be defiled by them. Leviticus 19. Deuteronomy says that those who consult with familiar spirits are an abomination to God. Okay? 1 John 4. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. Okay? Yes, my friends. There are so many verses. Okay? So here we have Leviticus 19:31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. So you see, you are defiled when you mess with those things. Okay? Isaiah 8, verse 19. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, peep and mutter, should not a people seek unto their God? For the living to the dead? So you see, people, they don't want to talk to God. And you know why? I'll tell you why. First of all, because they're blinded by the devil. And second, because they love their sin. They don't want to change. Okay? They like the way they're living. Alright? Isaiah 19, verse 3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. You know, when judgment comes, they will try to find help with the familiar spirits, but familiar spirits will not help those people. No, they don't. They don't. 2 Chronicles 33. And he calls his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. And also he observed times and used enchantments and witchcraft and dealt with a familiar spirit and with wizards. He wrought much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. So here we're talking about the leadership in Israel. And you see, when people there are dealing with these things, it's hard for us who don't have an experience with these things, okay? Especially if you're living in North America and in Europe. But I'll tell you, my friends, the spiritism here in Brazil is everywhere. And all those people, most of those people who are dealing with witchcraft and things like that, they have a familiar spirit. If they're not listening, to the voices in their heads, at least they go there in the rituals and they listen to the instructions through a medium, a channeler. Okay, so all these guys, the Illuminati guys, the guys who are, high in the pyramid, they follow familiar spirits. I mean, you have no doubt about it. The Rothschilds, all these guys, Hillary Clinton, Obama, all those guys there, the nobility in Europe, the bankers, have no doubt about it. All of them, they listen to familiar spirits in one way or the other. Okay? Leviticus 20, and the soul that turns after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and I will cut him off from among his people. Oh yes, my friends, that's harsh judgment. Harsh judgment. Okay? It's all about familiar spirits. Familiar spirits. So what you should do, you should stay away from that. You should watch your kids, especially if you have boys. Watch what they're doing in the internet. Okay? And if you're a young man, I'll tell you, my friend, it's time for you to start living. I know it's hard. I know the whole world is against boys these days because of feminism and Marxism. But, do not let yourself be engulfed with distractions and things that will steal your life away. And that's the problem. And when you don't have a real life, you start to have imaginations and fantasies, and you start believing in fables, okay? And because you are a man and you have this drive that is common to masculinity, you want to go deep into that. You want to understand everything. You want to experience, okay? But you are doing that. You are using your energy in the wrong way, my friend. So stay away from imaginations. It's better for you, start a hobby, start practicing some sport, or get a backpack and go traveling, meet people, real people, okay? And most of all, use that energy and that drive to study the Bible. Study the Bible, try to understand what God wants for you, okay? And stay away from these imaginations, because that's the way, you see, it's a perfect plan. It's so demonic, okay? First, you steal away the life of people, their livelihood, their dreams, their practical life, their work, you just steal that away. You make them passive, you make them defeated, just a bunch of losers. And after, you did all this, they do that through politics. And that's one of the dangers. If Hillary Clinton, the witch, is elected, things will only get worse, okay? Especially for men, because she's a staunch feminist. So what they do is that they use politics and they use, economics in order to destroy the life of people, make them all passive and losers. And they, that's the other aspect. They come with the religious aspect, and they destroy your soul, okay, with imaginations, fables, and occultism. And they will attract you, lure you into occultism. Because you're there, you have nothing to do, you're a loser, you're depressed, you don't have any kind of excitement in your life, and then you start dealing with this kind of thing. So avoid those things at all costs. At all costs. Keep your mind, guard your heart. That's the most important thing you have. Okay? When you see that you are losing control, go outside, meet people, okay? Doesn't matter. Go to the mall and have a ice cream. Anything. But flee from those imaginations, because it's a trap from the devil. I really pray that God will bless you and protect you, my friend, and give you wisdom. Okay? Thank you very much for watching our show, for listening to our show, and I hope to see you next week. God bless you. Bye-bye.